So guys, we're back. Been working at this for quite a while now. I've got the basement area finished up, or the holding cells. So this is the armory leading down into the holding cells. So we added this in here for light. Of course, I'm probably going to add some more textures back in here. Haven't even really started on this yet. I just noticed that this leading down was super dark. So we'll head down here, and I did the same thing right here, a little bit of light. Now we'll start out. I'm going to go ahead and close that door for a moment, but kind of walk around the corner, get a wanted poster here. I thought that was kind of interesting, you know, to have right outside the holding cell area and the torture area. So we'll head on in here, and I'm going to give you guys a quick pan over what it looks like. So anyway, kind of starting out to kind of show you guys around here, we've got the officers area here. This is basically the guard who's going to be watching over the inmates, or basically the prisoners here. This is where he's going to be sitting, conducting his paperwork. Over here, he's got a bookshelf. If he doesn't have anything to work on, he's got nothing going on, he can kind of read a book. He's got some tools down here. I'm kind of looking up here. I've got a clock now. I used a compass as a clock. I have one there, and then I also have one back here. And the reason why I used a compass as a clock is because, again, this is a kind of a ruined tower, ruined castle, if you would. And the clocks, I'll bring up the menu here, are awfully, if I can find them. Good Lord, where are you hiding? There they are. This is the clock here, and it is awfully bright, happy, not too big a fan of that. But we've got these here, and they look a little bit darker. Not only that, one of the biggest things that I had an issue with was the fact that obviously a clock in game is going to show the actual time. I did not want them to show the time, of course. Again, this is a broken down castle. The clocks are not going to work. But anyway, kind of continuing on, he's got his seat here. He's got a chest to kind of keep some of his just kind of keep some of his things in. He's got some tools back here, some papers, some various things kind of pinned up here for work. We've got the torture area here, so we've got a bed to be strapped down. We can strap them down, and maybe pull teeth or cut off fingers. We've got some knives over here, some more tools in the back. This here is basically some shackles to be able to kind of pin them to the wall. Back here we have a chest. In some area, maybe they'll throw various body parts or something in there. I'm not sure if they're basically amputating body parts to as torture devices. And then inside of the chest here would obviously be their items that they came in with. Now, I've destroyed the exterior of this a little bit to where you can kind of actually see outside. And then inside the cells, we also have some more shackles inside of here. We've got some hay down on the floor because, of course, they don't have any beds. As you can tell, they're pretty much going to be strapped to the wall for the most part. And, of course, they're going to be, urinating and defecating all over themselves. So the hay is a way for them to basically quickly be able to go in there, kind of scoop it out, clean it out, and get rid of it really fast. Over here we have a fireplace. We've got, I used some coal block in the back there to basically simulate the brick being burned or discolored from the fire. And then right here we have a cauldron that they would keep water in, so like if they're torturing, or maybe the inmates are starting to stink a little bit, they can throw a bucket of water on them, or even do the old I don't know if you guys have heard of I think if I'm not mistaken, it's referred to as the Chinese water torture, where they would basically dip a rag or a like a cloth sack with water, and then they would basically put it over their heads, and it would make them feel like they were drowning. But we've got some a torn kind of cloth looking thing here. Again, this is kind of a falling down castle. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think it came out really well. We've got, a little bit of blood stain on the floor. I kind of wish the blood stain, obviously we're using some redstone there. But I wish it was less kind of squarish and more like little droplets and not as dark. I wish it was a little bit more kind of a duller color. But for the most part, we've got this entire room finished up. I think it looks really well. We've got, some ceiling kind of falling in now. I may add some textures on the ground, kind of, again, simulate the roof caving in. I'm not sure. I think it looks really well the way it is. It's pretty dark in here for the most part. The only lighting that I used was, other than just the natural lighting, is the redstone torches here, because they don't put off a whole lot of light, but they put off enough to where if you were to come in here at night, you could still kind of see your way through. We're going to kind of move up here. The next area we're going to be working on is going to be the armory. So we got a little bit of extra work here, especially the fact that these ceilings are a lot higher. So I'm going to be able to do a lot more with the ceilings as far as being able to kind of sculpt those a little bit and add some detail to that. So we're going to continue on and work from there. So guys, after doing the last part, kind of noticed there's a couple things that I was actually missing in here that I wanted to kind of add in. The first thing was I figured, it would be a good idea to go ahead and add in maybe like a skull or two in here. Just thought it might be a good idea to kind of spruce this up a little bit. Let's throw one right there as well. Got a skull there, and we're going to add a skull in right here. And then let's put that back. And then also cobwebs. We can throw in a couple of cobwebs in here. Of course, this has been abandoned. This has been kind of chilling. A lot of this stuff's been up here for quite a while, so nobody's been in here cleaning anything like that. So we'll add a couple cobwebs in. We'll maybe throw one in there as well. Actually, let's see if we can make that up in the corner there. And then maybe just one right there. And I think that should pretty much... Actually, you know what? Let's get rid of this one. It's too many. I don't think it's a good idea to kind of have three sitting in that kind of angle like that all together. And then also what we need to do is, let's go right here where this area is. Let me find the hay block real quick. And then we're going to add in, if I can remember where it's at. There it is. We're going to add just a couple extra hay bales. We'll do one kind of like that. And then we'll do one like this. And then you know what? Let's do this. Let's take that, pop that there, put that there, and then we'll open this part up. So that way there's still light coming through. And I actually liked how there was the cobblestone wall right there. So we'll actually plop that down. All right, perfect. I think that's looking a little bit better, and that gives us some kind of storage for hay right there. Now it is actually officially time to go ahead and start moving up this way. So what we'll do is we'll start working on the barracks area here, or not the barracks, the forge area. So we're going to work on the armory. Now what I need to do is I need to go ahead and I need to go ahead and texture everything coming down the stairs. So we'll get that done. And then we're going to start working on the armory. So I'm going to go ahead and texture the walls real quick. And then once we get that done, we'll start working on the placement for the armory. All right, so we've got the walls for the most part textured. Of course, I'm going to go in, I'm going to remove some blocks and add in some stair pieces into the walls, make it look like it's falling apart. I've got these down here, this little walkway leading down into the cell area finish. So kind of show you guys that. Now, of course, like I said, there's a lot of missing blocks. Just kind of strewn about, so that way it does have a feel that it is coming apart. Now, let me get back here. So if you guys kind of see here, there's just missing blocks kind of everywhere. This entire room is completely finished now, with this hallway anyway. So now the next thing we need to start doing is working on the roof. Right now this room is a little too big. It's too open. So we're going to kind of close that off by adding in some roof textures. Now I did go through and I added some windows. We've got an arrow slit here. We've got some arrow slits over here as well. And that's just going to kind of add in some natural lighting. But you can kind of see outside, but not a whole lot. And of course, people aren't going to be able to see in, but I think it adds a little bit extra detail rather than just having a normal window to be able to see outside. And of course, once I get the roofs, the ceiling in, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to punch out some more holes into the wall. So just to add, again, more texture. We're going to put in a fireplace right here. Of course, this is the armory area, so he is going to be able to use this fireplace for his, for his smelting. We'll add some furnaces into this as well, so we'll actually kind of put those into the walls here for him to be able to melt down, iron and different objects, to be able to kind of, hammer those out into the objects that he needs. But we're gonna go ahead and start working on this roof. I'll show you guys what that looks like once that's finished. Alright guys, so we've got the ceiling finally finished here. That only took me about 15-20 minutes really, just to kind of get all this in, get the detail in there, and just make sure everything looked really well. So we've got that done. We've got it back here as well. I'm just kind of going in here, and then I went ahead and added next to the fireplace here, there was kind of a little itty bitty block area back here, just a single block kind of going back, and I thought, what, this might be a good area again for some more storage. But we've got that done. We've got the inside of the actual storage closet. Now I threw up a redstone torch. I don't think it's going to stay there. If I do, I'll have it on a table or something in here. But we've got this as well done. This is up underneath the stairs here, so storage area for that as well. Now I think this is looking pretty good. I'm probably again gonna punch a couple holes in up here. And then maybe kind of put in some cobblestone walls there. I think another good spot for that would be right in this area here. We'll kind of, remove some of that. And then, let's see here. We may be able to, we can't really do it in the back here because it goes too far back into the area back there. But I think that'll do it. That, kind of gives us, a good view of the outside. And of course, I'm going to kind of cover this up with probably some stairs, half slabs, and some cobblestone wall. But now I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start working on the actual interior. We're gonna work on the different items and everything that's gonna go in here. So we've got to have a forge for smelting. We've got to have some armor stands, some swords, materials, armor, different things like that. So we're gonna kind of get to work on that. I'm thinking about putting the main work area obviously right in here. We'll probably have a desk or some kind of area for writing up plans back here. Maybe over here, if I can figure out how to make it look properly, maybe like a mold area somewhere where they would keep molds for different swords and stuff. Obviously back here is going to be probably storage. This may be storage 1, may be actual storage for materials such as different ores and stuff that they would be using them to smelt down, and this may be just storage for like, who knows, I might just put some wood back in here if I can kind of open this up a little bit maybe. Nope, that's not gonna work, but we'll fix that here in a minute. But we'll get this all figured out here. Of course, actually, armor stands, that would be perfect for storage area for some armor stands. Put 2 or 3 armor stands in there and that would work out perfectly. Back in here, there's also another little closet here. I may just put a door here, and then have on the inside, actually I could put the door like right here and then just have, like some shelves right here or something, I'm not sure. Maybe he uses some kind of powder or something in his a mixture of, melted down stuff. He'll throw some powder in there, maybe, something to temper it, make it a little bit harder. Not sure how that works, but we'll get this figured out, and we'll see you guys here in a minute. Alright guys, so we've got the interior of the armory finished. Let me go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. Alright, so this is coming up the stairs from the cells, and you're going to come in here, and we've got the entire blacksmith area finished up here. Hope you guys are liking that. I think it looks pretty cool. Kind of give you guys a show around here. So we'll start here over in this area where I kind of punched those holes out. So we've got a couple armor stands here with some various armor pieces. Of course, they're not fully finished. It looks like somebody has stolen a couple of them. We've got some paperwork back there, maybe some designs of something that he's working on, or some notes of how to, make better armor or better weapons. Over in this area, we've got a small area. Now, this would be for like the apprentice blacksmith, something that he's going to be working on, or even an extra area to work on stuff. And back in here, we've got some storage. We've got another armor stand. We've got a chest there. Of course, this stuff's going to be getting hit by all kinds of weather. So back in this area, we've got the furnace and the fireplace here. So he's got plenty of areas here to kind of burn stuff and to melt down stuff. We've got another little bit of storage back here with another armor stand that has nothing on it. We've got some storage back there for some different tools and stuff that he may use. Of course, this is the staircase that leads down into the dungeon down there with the cells. Got some more storage here for, you know, like I said, different various tools. Of course, we've got tools hanging up on the walls. We've got some chests, some books. Maybe he's got different books that he's written, or, you know, that he's gotten from other blacksmiths. I will kind of show you guys how this works here. So this would be the main area for him to be working on stuff. We've got this lever here with these little kind of gear doodads and whatnots. So basically this here would be where he would have the molten ore. And yeah, down here we've got another furnace here. So basically what would happen is he would have that ore there. He would flip this switch here, which would then in turn turn that over down into here. And this is kind of, I used a minecart, and that's kind of like a mold. Now he would come around here, he would be working here, and then of course he's got his water in this one here, and that would be what he would use to kind of stick the sword down into, or the armor piece down into, to cool it off. So over here in this area, we've got another bookcase there. We've got some more storage areas down here. We've got a chest for his personal belongings. Here, this thing here, I thought that looked kind of cool, like something he would kind of hang different tools on, or, you know, maybe unfinished pieces of work. And then he's got, of course, his, you know, own reading material. He's got more plans and stuff back there. And then maybe this here is kind of like a checklist of different orders that he has. You know, if somebody sends it, you know, like the Duke or the King or whatever sends over an order, or and he would kind of post it here, and this is what he's currently working on back in this area. Now this originally was a closet. I kind of decided to open it up a little bit, but we have, you know, some different ore and stuff back here, more storage, more tools and stuff back in this area. And then of course I went ahead and I threw down some carpet. I used I used brown carpet in this area. Again, this is kind of a castle area, or a tower that is falling apart. So I wanted to make sure that what was here as far as carpet was kind of old and frayed and dirty looking, so used brown carpet. I thought it went over well, but ultimately I think this is really, really cool. I think this came out really, really well. I hope you guys like it. It was a pretty big room to start off with. Now it's pretty cramped and, you know, kind of just crammed to the gills, if that makes any kind of sense. I did try to leave a little bit of open pathway here, kind of going down this way, a little bit of open walkway, but for the most part I think it's pretty full. We've got, you know, various tools and stuff over here. We've got some knives and swords and stuff that he may be working on. We've got some more hanging right there. And then of course over here we've got, you know, like I said, we've got more plans and different things there. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on upstairs here. Now I'm gonna have to texture the stairs kind of going up. I did do that with the bottom part here, kind of going down into the cellar dungeon area. I went ahead and I layered in the walls in here, and then kind of put some stair blocks in here to make this feel a little bit more rounded and less squared. But we're gonna move on up here now. We're gonna be working on the actual barracks area. So, but I think that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. We'll start to work on that on the next episode. We'll get the barracks area done. We'll get this up here finished as well with the writing desk, the coops, the bookshelves and stuff. This is going to be like the information center of where they're going to basically be getting all of their information. They're going to be sending it out. And then this is where they're going to be doing a lot of their planning as well. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. And then once we get those things done, we'll move over here. I've got a lot of work I've got to do on this part. We're going to redo this completely. I don't like how this turned out. I may keep some of it, but not a big fan of how this turned out. I feel like the wood just doesn't do well with the tower. And then kind of leading down to the basement. Now, one thing I did do over on this area that I did actually like, kind of leading down, we've got this room here. And it's got some stuff in it, but I mean, there's nothing really in it, but I did like how as we continue down the staircase here, it just kind of comes to a dead end where like the ceiling has kind of caved in. I thought that was a really good idea, and I may incorporate that kind of backwards where you can't get down to the to the next level without because, you know, the ceiling is caved in. And then I'm lost here, but if you've ever played any of the Fallout games, Fallout 4 did it really well in some of the buildings where you couldn't access a staircase because part of it has fallen in. So therefore, you would go find a piece of roof or some of the roof that has fallen in, and you would basically climb up the roof to get to the next floor. So I think that would be a really good idea. I may incorporate that in, but honestly, guys, like I said, I think this has turned out really, really well. I hope you guys like that. What's kind of going on so far? I feel like these areas have really came together really well. Was pretty nervous because I don't like doing interiors as much, but I think after a long period of time of not really working on an interior, it's kind of easier to do because you get a little bit more inspiration. You're like, oh man, so I've actually really enjoyed this. So, but again, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode, and we will see you guys next time. So anyway, this is Obi signing out.